Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our session today for a discussion on the digital advantage. I think we can all agree our world looks pretty different nowadays, so I appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedules to join our session. In fact, we would have all been meeting in Chicago to discuss this topic, so let's hope we get the opportunity to do so next year. My name is Candice Coltrane, Vice President of Business Development here at AYTM. With over 12 years of experience in the market research industry, I've spent a large portion of that partnering with leading Fortune 500 brands to streamline how they conduct market research. Most of this has been driven by the adoption of technology and innovation, which is really what we'll focus on today's conversation, which allows clients to make quicker, more qualified business decisions. Today, we're going to spend just a few minutes discussing reasons innovation should be at the center of your insight strategy to ensure your brand survives and ultimately thrives in times of uncertainty. One of the biggest things we've learned over the last few months is the need for insights leaders to be proactive versus reactive as it relates to digital technology adoption. Specifically, I'll cover the importance of having actionable insights, including data visualizations and storytelling capabilities, to really help guide your conversations with key stakeholders. Simple ways to execute complex research tasks regardless of your skill level or expertise. Shifts that we're seeing clients make from long-term strategic research to more in-the-moment research. And I'll close with some practical advice for ensuring your technology partnerships are flexible, adaptable, and providing you the highest quality and most dependable data. So let's get started. Now more than ever, consumer behaviors are shifting, and insights leaders are being bombarded with multiple research requests. Stakeholders want to know, what are we going to do to prepare for the future? It's likely you're being pushed to deliver more insights faster and with less resources and less budget given the current economic situation. If you weren't already feeling that pressure, you certainly are now. One major benefit of technology is access to dashboard visualizations, helping to create a more robust understanding of the data, really allowing you to bring your story to life in a way that's accessible to all stakeholders. Technology also gives you access to iterative insights. This allows you to be much more agile in your research process. For example, I'm sure many of you often find that once your research study is done and you're providing the insights to leadership within a meeting, they're always going to have follow-up questions. And you don't really want to have to tell them that you need 3 more weeks and tens of thousands of dollars to provide an answer. With the right technology behind you, you can feel more confident in promising them an answer in a matter of hours or days, making you look like the hero to your boss and your boss's boss. A great example of this is a recent interview we held with a client who leads research on an American craft beer company. She discussed a research test for a new product launched that required their team to use MaxDiff to test preference among 25 new flavor options, or so we thought. This quickly moved to a requirement for testing 87 flavors. Sound familiar? Projects are always changing scope last minute. Going into a room and asking for a large research budget to run such an enormous test of 87 flavors from stakeholders was going to be challenging and likely was going to just pause the project altogether. With the use of automation, they were able to quickly design and program the full survey with all 87 flavors in less than a day. Access to iterative insights along the way gave them the ability to pop in and out of conversations with results in hand, which allowed them to further define each stage of the research process. With the use of an automated turf model, it led to the development of a shortened flavored list, which they were able to provide to their innovation and development teams. All of this taking place over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, which I'm sure you can agree is pretty incredible. For this client, iterative research wouldn't have been possible without access to more advanced automated research, such as the MaxDiff. When considering digitally transforming your research, most companies don't think that includes complex studies, because those are oftentimes outsourced to full-service firms. Automated MaxDiff is just one of the advanced tests to look for in a technology platform. Also, be on the lookout for tools that automate turf analysis, conjoint, price optimization, Kano modeling, and more. The ability to conduct sophisticated studies in an iterative way, you can save your time and money. One of our clients at a Fortune 500 CPG shared with us the following information. Shifting all different types of research to our digital platform saved over 3,700 days on building and analyzing discrete choice models. They were able to complete max diffs from programming to results in as little as 3 to 24 hours versus 4 weeks using the traditional route of research. They were also able to execute conjoint tests in just 2 to 3 days, rather than the standard 5-week timeline to results. I'm sure you can only imagine the savings that added up here. Speaking on the different types of studies, we've noticed a shift in the type of research being run by our clients. I wanted to highlight a few of those tests for you to consider in your own environment if you're not already doing so. First up, innovation studies. This will certainly be circumstantial. There are some industries that are seeing total stalls in innovation right now, simply because of what's happening in the world. That said, we're seeing concept and product studies continue for CPG, retail, health, and other industries. We're also doing more quali-quant research, and this really is beyond just the use of open ends, but incorporating video and image responses in replace of in-person focus groups. When thinking about innovation, consider asking consumer questions on preference, purchase intent, uniqueness, other KPIs to still confidently get the answers you're looking for. During these studies, you may also be able to identify a new group of people who are now using your product, but have not in the past, and create a whole new consumer cluster that may drive innovation in the future. Next up is consumer pulse studies. People are home more often, so the activities they're doing daily are shifting. The social and economic situation are continuing to change and can have both a positive and negative impact on your business. Paying attention to habits can make or break a company in today's evolving world. And we're seeing ongoing consumer trackers happening not just internally on our end, but our clients are running them as well. Here at AYTM, we've actually been running our own consumer pulse tracker since March, and we've been closely monitoring the shifts in consumer behavior, sentiment, and attitudes, and sharing that data out with our clients weekly. We've seen some really interesting insights come out of the tracker, particularly around buying behaviors and brand switching. What you're seeing on this chart is the current social and economic impact on categories shopped. Consumers continue to report increasing their spend levels in certain essential categories, such as cleaning products, shelf-stable foods, and frozen foods. Likewise, higher expense durable goods are the most likely of all categories to see reduced spending. Perhaps some of the most interesting data, though, has been the impact on brands purchased. Brand switching remains somewhat common in certain categories, particularly cleaning supplies and toys and crafts. Nearly 1/4 of consumers are also using different brands of frozen and packaged goods, foods from what they typically used in the past. Most consumers who have switched brands across all key product categories plan to fully return to their original brands, indicating new brands have made inroads into consumer consideration sets, something you likely will want to probe more if this falls within your own brand. And since we're speaking here of brand switching, this is a great lead-in to our next study type, brand loyalty. Consumers were forced to buy what was on the shelf. Even if they wanted to be brand loyal, they may not really have had that option. Now is the time for researchers to dive into brand loyalty shifts. If someone bought something else they wouldn't normally buy, were they delighted by it? Were they surprised, disappointed? Was their purchase or lack thereof because of price and the need to ensure their money stretched further? Are they willing to switch to using your product more often or less often now in the future? If you do that work now, it will help with supply chain management and positioning down the road. That brings me to my last one. What are your competitors doing? Now more than ever, you should be looking at where your strengths and your weaknesses are and monitoring those threats. As things continue to move forward into whatever this new normal may be, you can begin to predict whether they return to normal for your brand and your products or not. So up until now, we've talked quite a bit about different types of research you should consider and ways to use technology tools to be more iterative and agile. But there are other important considerations for insights leaders when selecting research tools. One of the most often asked questions when I work with companies who are looking to make more of a shift towards digital research is how often does this affect the overall quality of the data being collected? Every supplier in the industry recognizes that data quality is imperative. However, those that may not manage a panel directly don't always consider this to be their key business objective, while for brands, it's the ultimate objective. Poor data quality can lead to business decisions that can move the brand in the wrong direction and result in lower market share. How does this affect each of you? Well, it can erode the trust that you've built with your stakeholders and negatively impact your company's ability to understand the consumer. You'll want to ensure that the supplier you choose carefully employs a quality control workflow, some of which should include the removal of bots and duplicates, verification of your target audience, the quality of their responses, and most importantly, a deep commitment to providing an exceptional user experience. This ultimately is going to have a direct impact on the quality of your data. As you think about how you can digitally transform your own insights, you want to ensure that you partner with a supplier that allows for customization and flexibility to meet your unique service needs. This is really the key to getting research done right within budgetary and time constraints. Customization also empowers you to build best practice templates and processes, really raising the standard and consistency of all the research that's being conducted by your teams. When a client of ours that designs and distributes vehicles in the US came to us and asked about Kano modeling, at that time, it was not a research test that we had templated in our platform. Partnering with the client, we were able to create and automate the question type using research best practices, built though for their specific requirements. This allowed them to test the importance of different features within a vehicle on a scale of nice to have to must have. That ability to customize specific to a client's needs can create a strategic partnership that goes far beyond just the use of a technology tool. The Kano model I just mentioned was built using AYTM's expert solutions. Expert solutions are flexible, guided research templates developed using proven best practices and methodologies. They really cover the entire research lifecycle, from survey programming to reporting, with automation handling the heavy lifting. These expert templates minimize manual effort, allowing even newer researchers to run complex studies like concept tests, product claims, conjoint, and more, with the help of a guided interface that's flexible to your unique research environment. What you'll see here is an example of how simple it is to set up a concept test using our expert concept solution. With expert solutions, your survey practically designs itself. You'll start by defining what you're evaluating, the conversion event that you'll want to track. In this example, we'll look at behavior for vacation packages. You can select a few audience descriptors, and then you'll move into adding the concepts, as simple as dragging and dropping images directly into the platform. The platform allows you to do this in bulk as well. Once you have your images uploaded, you'll want to give your concepts a name, and then add some descriptive text for each. As you can see here, you're easily able to just copy and paste directly into the platform. From there, you can set the attributes you would like to measure for each concept. There's also some options around testing for media consumption and asking respondents for alternatives they may use as well. Once you've set up your concepts and reviewed, you have the opportunity to preview how the fully programmed survey will look to respondents. You can do this in both the respondent mode to get the full experience, as well as in researcher mode, which will allow you to edit on the fly as needed. The beauty of expert solutions is the flexibility you have to edit them, if you'd like, of course. When you're in the editor, you can easily add prequals and instruction text to the front of the survey. Ideally, this is where you'd want to add in custom questions that would exist outside of the main concept block. A good example would be customer segments that you may want to use on the back end for analysis. You'll also see that all the logic and question types automatically are built into the test. You can move forward with the test as is, or you can actually unlock it with the ability to run it just as a normal AYTM test. You have the ability to soft edit text in the different question setup as well. This is key when you may need to revise the way a standard question is worded for a specific product or service. Once you've reviewed, you can simply check out from there and launch your study. So in addition to the flexibility and automation of expert studies, you'll also have access to the Expert Solutions Automated Report, which answers your study's core objectives through a visually engaging storytelling dashboard. You can view objectives, methodologies, adjust your confidence level. You can clearly see the key findings and winners from your study. You'll also have the ability to dive into more beautiful graphs and charts around purchase intent, as well as the attributes that you tested and more. As you can see here, very engaging and dynamic graphs that are included in graphics. Next up, you'll see the use of word clouds and how you're able to capture common open-end responses in an easy, digestible way, with the ability to click into specific words within the word cloud to dive deeper. Next, you can see that all of the data can be exported into a PowerPoint for sharing internally with your stakeholders. One of the great things about AYTM's PowerPoints are that you can easily edit directly within the PowerPoint. So if you do decide that you want to take a look at the original data as fielded, you can toggle between the various dashboards. From here, you can do things like run crosstabs and sig tests and export the raw data in a number of different formats. So this is just one example of an expert test that we have available. And similar to our Kano model example, we can work alongside you to build an expert template based on how your organization would want to standardize their research projects for simplicity and agility. This level of innovation really emphasizes the need for a technology partner that will ultimately become an extension of your own research team. So now I want to talk about just a few things to consider when you're looking for a supplier. First is empathy. It's crucial that your supplier really listens and understands your unique challenges to help achieve your desired outcomes. Next is responsiveness. With turning to technology to support your research questions, you'll find that your teams will likely reach out more often, driving the need to move that much faster. Ensure that your supplier responds quickly when you have questions, you need help troubleshooting, creating surveys, launching them, whatever the ask may be. Next is expertise. Your supplier must bring its own knowledge and best practices to the table to fill in any research experience gaps you or your team may have. Being able to rely on your supplier beyond just technology is really crucial. And lastly is training. Finding a supplier that arms you with the information you need to become more self-sufficient, enabling a successful digital transformation across your organization. Most of the training that we do is on site. Well, prior to COVID, though, that is, followed by ongoing training and webinars as we further evolve our platform. So what can digital transformation look like for you at your organization? The new world of technology is not just quick and dirty research. As illustrated in this session, complex research can be done using technology and automation, as long as you have the right partnership. When looking to build the business case for moving from full service to digital insights, there's just a few of the key benefits in making that transition. So let's dive into each of those. First is overall cost savings. Whether you're just accessing a tool DIY or making use of expert research teams, it's the automation that really allows for the true cost savings. Next is time savings. High quality, iterative insights in hours or days, not weeks or months, allows the ability to save time upfront as well as on the back end to help your teams make quicker business decisions. Next is support. A technology provider that provides training and support and acts as a true partner to your organization, evolving their technology and platform to meet your specific research needs. So as you think towards the future, be sure you're setting yourself up with the processes and tools you know that will empower you to move quickly and cost efficiently. Thanks for joining me today. If you're interested in sharing ways that you've moved to technology or talk with other leaders who have made that shift to learn more, we're currently hosting monthly roundtable events with client-side insights leaders from all different industries. If you'd like to be a part of one of the discussions, please feel free to reach out to me after this webinar or join via the link in the chat. Let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A.